Hey guys, so today I have a super fun project on the go. Generally I do all hand railing all the time, but I did get asked to do this really fun art piece for somebody. It'll be just a very decorative style piece, lots of scrolls, lots of handmade little pieces for it. I'm really excited to do it, and I just want to show you guys the process of how I do this. So first of all, I know the shape and size of what it's going to be. It's going to be 9 feet long by 3 feet wide. So what I want to do right now is I'm going to draw this out on my floor, and then I can kind of get the design that I'm looking for. So once I have that design drawn out, then I can make all my scrolls and I can kind of duplicate each piece for each side. And I know I am no artist at all by any means. I can't even draw a stick man. I play Pictionary with my kids. I lose all the time, and that's okay. So this design that I will have on the floor will basically just be for me to have a guide of how big I want the pieces. So once I make them out of metal, they will look a lot better than they will when I draw it out on my floor. So let's get going. Okay, I have a microphone on now. Lots of people complain about how you can't hear my voice, so let's try to do this a little bit better now. Okay, let's build things. Okay, so I always like to have just a really big, long, straight edge. This is pretty simple how I'm going to be doing just my rectangle. Always have soapstone, always have lots of soapstone. So I'm going to start by drawing out my big long line. And then we'll make sure that that's 9 feet. Okay. From there to there. And where's my other long one? There it is. So this is just my base frame of what it is that I'm building. So I know that I'm going to have the right size. So, I mean, even if it's, this will be square, but it will be exactly the size that we need it to be. This whole thing is going on to someone's house, on the front of somebody's house. So it will be quite big and quite interesting to see once it's done. And it's getting powder coated forest green. So that's really fun. So this is going to be exactly 3 feet this way. While I'm here, I might as well mark the center, because I need the centers for both, for where all my pieces are going to land. Should probably get the center of this as well. Four. And the same on the inside. .36 top to bottom. Too short on my line. .36. .36. And then I have my 36 there, my 36 there. So technically this should just be my perfect rectangle right here. I know, I should be wearing knee pads. When I'm doing this for a big set of stairs, I always wear them. And I have the ones that I can wear underneath my jeans, which are really quite handy. just because I do a lot of kneeling, and I have a ton of kneeling pads that I usually have kicking around for any of my railing stuff. So we'll get the center this. Well, let's make sure I am right. Yep. Okay. So I have my nice big triangle, rectangle, drawn out on the floor, 9 feet long by 3 feet tall. I have my center lines marked out. Okay, so promise you won't laugh at me. I mean, you can laugh because I won't hear you. Look at how beautiful this looks. This was my drawing from the drawing that the customer sent me of kind of what it was that they were looking for. And I was just trying to take it off my phone, just put it onto a piece of paper so I didn't have to keep referring to my phone. So to you guys, it looks completely awful and like a child drew it. But I wouldn't even put that blame on a child. My child can draw far better than this. But I'm going to use this as a bit of a guide. I'm going to measure a few different things, getting my centers, but I just have this more so I know where the lines need to land. And then I will just draw it out as it needs to be from there. So don't mind this little drawing. This is not what it will look like in the end. But let's get to playing around with some of these lines. So when I'm making this in for real life, I know none of these really line up. This is more just going to be a visual thing for me. So when I make, one of these pieces, because these 4 corners are all going to be the exact same. So when I make one of these pieces, I'll just replicate that for all 4 and then make sure that they all line up the same. So each of these pieces will be duplicated. So when it's being built, it will make a lot more sense. But this is just all for sizes of how I want to do things once I get my scrolls together. Once I want to incorporate all of the little extra pieces that are going to be involved that I have. It's in here. It's not on here. Most of the things that I build, I kind of just do it as I go. I really like to see things full size, like big in real life, and then just kind of tweak it and do the things to it that I need to as I go. So for this one, this is just size reference, and then all those little bits will be, those little detailed bits will be put in as I need to put them in. It is just really weird trying to draw these scrolls and making sure you're doing them the opposite way. So you could see I'm making a couple mistakes here and there, but we will get it. Okay, so this one. Okay, so as you can see, that side turned out far better than that side, but that's okay. I just wanted to get my lines as close as I possibly could. Sometimes it can be a little tricky in the brain. I don't do computer things, so I am going to have to learn one of these days. But I'm just going to play with these lines until they look nice and make sense to me. And then going to get going on my material. But for today, this is all that I actually want to do, is just make sure that I have this. I can actually go around and I just kind of take some measurements of how much flat bar I'm going to need, because this is all going to be made out of inch by 1/8 flat bar. So I'm just going to back my truck into here. I have my hitch attachment for my scroll maker, so I'll just be using it on there, and then just start playing around with all the pieces. I always buy lots of extras. I want to make sure that I have enough to play around with and to make everything turn really, look really smooth and come out really nicely. So lots of extra material. Kind of do a scroll and then play around with the size and do the scroll on the opposite end and everything to make it look all nice. So this is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to come back tomorrow morning with all my material, have my truck in here, and then we're going to get this thing built. Cannot wait. Okie dokie. Today is a brand new day. Here, nice and early in the morning. I have all my steel out of my truck. I'm actually gonna back my truck in because I'm gonna use my hitch attachment that I built to use my scroll maker because it's just easy. It's nice and warm in here. I have enough space, so I might as well just do it all in here. Again, the reason I don't have these benders mounted to my floor is because there's in-floor heating, plus I rent this shop, so I don't want to have to worry about putting holes in their shop and getting the thermal gun and trying to find out where is accessible for me to put these holes. So this is a really easy solution for me. It's just a couple pieces of square tubing and some flat plate, and then I was able to make myself this attachment. So easy peasy. I have it for all of my other benders, and it works like a hot damn. So let's get this truck in here and let's get these scrolls made. One of my very not so light bending attachments. Into the hitch we go. Alright. Okay, it's all loaded up. I don't need to pin it in or anything because it's more of a side pull on it all than it is on like an in and out or anything like that. So I don't have to worry about pinning it in. We're ready to go. I have all my lines and everything that I need there, so I'm going to just start bending up some scrolls. I'm going to add all the details to it after. I just want to get everything kind of lined up. Do 1/4 of this, so I'll just do the top corner. I'll pick the side that kind of looks the best. Play around with all my lines and then just keep building it. So let's do this thing. So I think I'm going to be hand bending a lot of these pieces. But I am just going to do them in 4s, I think. So I'm going to do the same curve on 4 pieces. And then once I get this same curve, then I'm going to just kind of match that on everything else. So let's just let my brain do its thing here. Cool. So a lot of these pieces, as I'm making them, maybe they're not going to sit like quite perfectly flat, and that's okay. I can heat things up and I can bend them and I can kind of maneuver them to where I want to be for each individual one. But if I can get like a starter piece for each one, then that will work out really great. So I'm just going to try to duplicate this one that I have here. Again, it doesn't exactly follow my line, but it doesn't really have to, just as long as they all 4 match. Okay, so I have my first 4 pieces built. This is outline the basis of what this shape is going to be. So I'm going to now bend these smaller inside circles here and get looped in those. I am back in my shop. It is a different day. I will tell you guys, sometimes my techie experience is very, very lacking. I had recorded a bunch of stuff that I was doing the other day on this, and I didn't press record, so that happens. Anyways, I didn't do a ton, so as you guys can see, this is where I'm at. I have all the main pieces have been built, and then just staying in touch with the customer. They had said that they wanted a few more decorative pieces put into this, which is totally a-okay, but I don't have a forge or anything fancy like that to do some of the more intricate designs. And I'm also on a bit of a time crunch. So I ended up going to a bunch of different stores. You know, first I went to thrift stores and looked online through Marketplace to see if people were selling any like old vintagey wrought iron stuff. And they weren't, not anything that I wanted to use anyways. So I was able to go to Art Naps, which is wonderful. And they have such cute little garden decor. Let me just put you guys here for a second. I'll show you guys what I got. Okay, so I ended up buying a bunch of different little things. I did find one piece at Value Village, and there's a video. I did get that little video of me chopping it up. But it wasn't exactly what I wanted. I had a couple pieces that were great, but I ended up buying, you know, these fancy little hooks like this from Art Naps. And so they have the really decorative ends, which is what I wanted to add in. But I didn't want the key part, and I didn't know if I was going to incorporate these parts. But anyways, I chopped off all the hooks on some of these, and so then I was just able to utilize them some more like this. And so to be able to weld other pieces to the ends of this to make it look really pretty and to fit in well with this design. So I've done that with a few pieces here, and so I'm just going to go put them all into place and then just play around and see how I can make this look and what I need to incorporate, how I can make it all flow really nicely in order for the customer to love this. So let's start placing them where we need to go. Whoa. These were the ones that I found that I thought would look the absolute best. Oh no, it was these ones, because I wanted something a little bit pointy. These were white. I painted them black just so I could see how that looked without having all the different colors of the different things in here. So essentially these are how I wanted those ones to be. So I'm just gonna put things in places and see what looks good. That I thought would look nice for the middle, but it has a hole because this is a candle holder. But I'll have to fix that and make that look prettier, which is not a problem. I have one more piece that I'd like to put in there, which I will bend shortly. Oh, well, there. So I think what I would like to do here, because I like the flow of these things and they all look nice together, but I think I still want to have a main point all the way across. So that kind of matches with the dimensions of this, even if I have to cut this one off and have it be a little bit bigger to match with those ones. Or I will just take these pieces off completely so that I can just weld this into one big cross piece for how I want that to look. But I do like that. And then I can put these on top, like that. Something like that. Because it is nice to have it a little bit dimensional, because these are all different materials that you're trying to incorporate together. So I'm going to cut some tubing, or sorry, round bar in basically the lengths that I want to go this way and I want to go that way. And then we'll see how that looks. Okay, let's cut some more pieces. I have to bend one more piece because I want to have a circular piece coming around over here and lining up with this on the inside of this. So I'm going to bend two pieces around a piece of pipe and pull on it and cross them over, because I think that is what I would like for that space. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so I found this piece of pipe outside of my lovely junk pile. So I'm just going to try to bend one of these pieces around it. A little bit on the pinky side. But I'll just hammer that out. I can make that look nice. That is no problem. A little tweaking to do for the both of them, but that's basically what it is that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna curve like this. These might go up a little bit further and sit kind of centered in there, unless I have these come out, kind of go all the way out to the sides. But that's a decision for the customer to make. But I'm gonna round these because I actually want this line to match with this line. So I'm gonna just curve these a little bit, and I'll do that with both of them. I'll do this one first to make sure I like where it sits, and then see where they land. I feel like it might not be long enough, but we'll see what happens when I start bending them. Okay, so I've cut my little pieces that I want to have inside here and kind of have it marked out. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to clamp this whole thing to the table so everything sits flat where as best as I can. And then I will weld these little bits on, and so they kind of line up to where I need them to be. Hopefully everything will end up where it needs to go. And then this one is basically then my template. And then so then I'll take the other ones that I have and I'll just sit it on top and make sure everything lines up perfectly. So this one here is now going to be what all of them are going to be. So however this ends up, that's just how it's going to fit into my space. I am still just going to tack everything because I do want to make sure that the customer's really happy with how it all turns out. So I'm just going to put a quick tack on all the different spots, and then we'll replicate all the rest of them. Okay, so I'm going to go sit this over into my space, make sure that it looks good. Then I'm just going to come back and I'm going to do the same thing to the rest of these. I am happy. So I have all 4 of these finished up. They're all just tacked together to where they need to be. So I'm gonna put them all, lay them all out, make sure that I'm happy with how they are. Let's get these in place. I have another piece that I bent and I just made circle, circle, circle. I'm just gonna cut them into halves because I've kind of changed my mind on what I want to do for the top space here. So I'm just playing around with things, had fun on my ring roller, so I could just make this big spiral. So I'm just gonna cut this up and see what I can make look nice, but I think that center vertical spot I really, really love. So now I'm just gonna work on the horizontal space of it all and make it look beautiful. So unfortunately, I did not install this. I dropped it off at the house to be installed by the homeowner and his contractor. So I just dropped this off. So unfortunately, this is the only photo that I have of this installed. But thank you so much, my friends, for showing up and watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, like my videos, comment on my videos, tell me what you want to see more of. Always wanting to get some more things out there. So hope you all have a great day, and thanks again for watching.